are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome, race fans, to the beautiful North Wilkesboro Speedway for the Racers Elite Truck Series race. This historic track has seen some of the greatest moments in iRacing history, and we're sure to see more of the same today. The trucks are ready, the drivers are focused, and the fans are cheering, and it's all set for an unforgettable race here in the breadbasket of NASCAR. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because we're about to witness some of the best truck racing in the world. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth alongside Mr. Jordan Brockell, who's operating the ones, twos, and everything else in between, and we're excited to bring you all the action right here on Sim Racing Media. From the green flag to the checkered flag, we'll be with you right here on SRM. And Jordan, I am glad to be with you tonight, as we were just saying before you went live, before we switched over to the race itself. This is like a stress-free evening for me. You're on the ones and twos, and all I have to do is sit here and watch a race, and that's exciting to me.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you can sit back and just kind of, watch the race as well as calling it and not really having to flip through all these buttons. It's a nice, relaxing night. I mean, I'm not complaining about doing the buttons, but it's definitely a different, a different atmosphere for you.
Absolutely, and of course the atmosphere here at North Wilkesboro is electric because, for starters, I mean, North Wilkesboro is literally, right here in the heritage spot. I'd like to, we've got the Rust Belt and the Dairy Belt. I'd like to call this the Heritage Belt, at least for NASCAR, because, I mean, holy Christmas. This is the time, or this is the kind of place where the names used to be made on a weekly basis.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, just about all of, this area is home to many famous racers, and they grew up racing on tracks like North Wilkesboro and Bowman Gray, and up into the Virginias and both Carolinas, and it's just racing country in this little tri-state, multi-state area. So you got to watch a lot of guys just become real competitors and just true down to earth racers, and all for the love of the sport in this area.
In Pennsylvania Dutch country, we would call that an eck, E-C-K. It's Pennsylvania Dutch for a corner. And where all of these things intersect right here in North Wilkesboro would be a Dixieland eck, if you will. And, we're starting to see some of these qualifying times, trickle in here. And, here we are in the playoffs. And, I mean, drivers, of course, that I get to see on a Thursday night in the Cup Series. Now here they are also in the playoffs for the Truck Series. I mean, taking a look quick at some of these points. I mean, right now, Blair Holloman, with all of the steam coming into this race with 2,102 points. It looks like right now, Andrew Teft, driver the number 98, is only 13 points behind him. Brandon Sanfilippo, he's also running pretty close. In fact, 17 points off the lead for points. Then, of course, we have Kensley Smith, Kirby Wainscott, Kyle Hess, Sean Merriman, Troy Thomas, Dennis Kane, Sean Dunaway, and Rowan Lloyd and Rob Yost Jr. Those 12 drivers are your playoff drivers we're going to be keeping a close eye on tonight, especially as we start to march closer and closer to that season finale in just a couple of weeks. And looking at the schedule, looks like we've got Kansas next week, and then the season finale here in the Truck Series going to be at Texas Motor Speedway. And something tells me that's going to be an Old West shootout down there in the Lone Star State.
Oh, without a doubt, because Teft came in at Lucas Oil, dominated that race, gave little to no chance to anybody in that race at all. And then Holloman came in last week, dominated there, and basically took control there. And those two locked themselves into that final race at Texas. But the points battle for that final spot is certainly getting even closer as well. I mean, you've got Wainscott, Hess, Merriman, Thompson, all within just under 12 points in their respects. So it's getting tight down there, and some of these guys that are even below all of those are going to certainly want to try to pull off a win and jump those guys, and it's only going to make that fight for that final spot even harder, going into Kansas.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm watching Blair Holloman very closely as I look at the stats. Looks like Blair had 3 wins in a row earlier this season from June through July at Michigan International Speedway, Martinsville, and Darlington, and then picked up a road course win at Canadian Tire. So, literally, if you're trying to figure out where Blair Holloman is good, it's everywhere. And that was in the regular season. Then last week in Las Vegas, I mean, Blair Holloman seems to be unstoppable anywhere, which means that he still has that huge chance at Texas and, of course, at Kansas. So we're going short track racing tonight, and I'm really going to be watching Holloman for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the thing is it's one of those things where if someone were to come up and ask me, like, where is Blair Holloman good? The answer you just say is yes. You don't say, oh, well, he's good here, he's good there. You just say yes, because he finds a way to the front just about everywhere we run. And him, Honeycutt, Teft, I mean, even some of the guys, like Truth Hoke and Kensley Smith, they find speed easily here, as Honeycutt does go to the top of the pylon here to 1954 over Kensley Smith 1966.
Yeah, Kensley Smith lays down a 1966, and only 5 drivers so far have actually put in qualifying times. Rowan Lloyd, Jesse Fox, Rob Yost, Brandon Sanfilippo, Blair Holloman, Troy Thomas, Philip Archibald, and Kyle Hess still have yet to go out there and make those laps. But as I say that, it looks like Rob Yost and Brandon Sanfilippo are hopping in the cars, as is Andrew Teft. In fact, let's take a look here at Andrew Teft, of course, chief cook and bottle washer here in the Racers Elite Truck Series. And as he rolls it out of turn number 4 and back toward the front stretch, let's see if he can make better from that first lap. He lays down a 1982, still not going to be good enough to improve out of 6th position. So right now, Andrew Teft sits the bottom of the pile as far as timing goes. He's 4/1000th of a second off, 4/100th of a second off from Truth Hoke.
Yeah, so he's certainly going to have his work cut out for him, especially if some of these guys that haven't made times yet decide to lay down a time, as we've got about 3 minutes left here in qualifying. Sanfilippo goes 1973 on his first lap. Rob Yost is going to go ahead and take his out lap here.
And while we have the time, we want to thank everybody for tuning into the youtube.com live chat. We want to welcome you in. Thank you for tuning in no matter where you're listening from or how you're listening. We want to thank you for letting us into your homes, onto your phones. And, this is just kind of one of those exciting times of the week for me because, my usual Truck Series race that's on a Tuesday night happens to be off this week. So it gave me a little bit of extra time, if you will, to do something different. Of course, the great Alan Bergen, who is, you know what, I'm going to say it. He is the backbone of sim racing media when it comes to the admin stuff and keeping things spinning. I know that we, of course, kiss the ring of Jonathan Leach, but Alan Bergen put in a lot of work here at this company.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he puts in the time, and he gives us every tool to be successful, as well as finding support when needed, and just really kind of putting everything together on a weekly basis.
Yeah, right now, as we take a look over here, looks like Blair Holloman says chaos is inevitable, and quite frankly, I do not disagree. Chicken Coop Racing is giving us the old, it's more like the rooster, and we all know the other name for rooster. I'm going to leave that one there in the middle of the floor. I have to remember tonight, folks, that I can't just whisper sweet nothings into my broadcast partner's ears. My microphone is hot all night. I have to watch what I say.
Yeah, you certainly got to be a little cautious there.
I have a flair for the excitement.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what's wow, English is hard for me tonight. Where's the fun in just being mundane and normal?
I mean, to be fair, I'm an agent of chaos. For you folks that are just tuning in, and maybe you've never heard me call a race before, as Rowan Lloyd checks in here. Woohoo! We don't want anybody to be checking out. But as Rowan Lloyd checks into the youtube.com live chat, I like to have a little bit of fun. I like to play loose here, and to some degree, it's become kind of a reputation. Every time we hire somebody new here at Sim Racing Media, Alan feels the necessary. Wow, I can English too today. Feels the second try. Feels the necessity to warn them about me. And you folks that hang out with me on a Thursday night, we just like to have fun. I mean, we're about to sit in here for just over 150 laps. We're going to 160 tonight. So get comfortable, enjoy yourself. This is supposed to be fun and entertaining. It's not supposed to be stressful.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of Agent of Chaos, Jesse Fox says call him Chaos. So he's certainly feeling some kind of way tonight about tonight's race. I mean, it's definitely hot on this track. At time of qualifying is 113 track temp. So it's definitely going to be a tough, hot one here tonight. And before we get rolling here, we're going to go ahead and go over this grid here. As Brandon Sanfilippo sets fast time, going to roll off on pole with Brandon Honeycutt to his inside. I accidentally name-dropped Honeycutt because I was trying to talk to my wife about apples. I know it's very random in the middle of the grid. But I tried to say, like, they had Honeycrisp apples next door. And I was like, yeah, they got Honeycutt apples. And she's like, what's a Honeycutt apple? But
you should say Honeycutt and then hold your tongue when you say apple like you were in third grade.
Certainly not going to do that. Don't
Can you imagine what kind of pain that would ensue?
I can only imagine. Kensley Smith and Blair Holloman going to roll off row 2. Dennis Kane and Curtis Ecker are going to be in row 3. Truth Ho's going to start 7th with Andrew Teft starting in 8th. Troy Thomas, Kyle Hess going to go 9th and 10th. Rob Yost Jr. and Alex Teft going to be in our row number 6. Jesse Fox and Philip Archibald are going to be row number 7, and rolling out in 15th is going to be Rowan Lloyd.
Ooh, that was suspenseful.
I know. My brain shut off a little bit. I've been busy man, doing exams and all that, studying for the first 8 hours of my day.
I'm more impressed that you were doing exams instead of being examined.
I mean, I'm not. I
Yeah,
don't really
there
need any
was.
kind of examinations anytime soon. So.
Now, 15 drivers are scheduled to take the green flag tonight here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. And right now, the iRacing.com pace truck is leading us down into turns number 1 and 2. Drivers are going to be all kinds of excited tonight as we get ready to rock and roll. We take a quick look here, and it looks like, as I'm double checking here, 5 total sets of tires, laying 4, starting 5, and 1 fast repair in their pockets as we get ready to roll. Right now, Brandon Sanfilippo has control of the field as the iRacing.com pace truck is going to lead us on 1 more lap here around. But 15 drivers, that's a pretty good start, and that should allow a lot of real estate here on the track, Jordan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, this is one of those tracks where people are going to try several different lines tonight. You know, the rougher surface is going to definitely tear up tires. Plus, being hot, it's going to be, you know, an added, you know, element there of finding slickness through this track. Because, you know, once those tires start to wear out and being an old surface, it's just going to kind of slide around a good bit. So we're going to definitely have to pay attention to tires, and certainly I feel like fuel mileage, it always plays a point or a piece here. As we roll through that box, Sanfilippo gets a little bit of a wheel spin. Honeycutt's going to be able to take off and match him into turn 1 here.
Yep, oh dear. Almost a 3-wide start there as we rumble, stumble, fumble, and get ready to rock and roll. Looks like hauling it down here into turn number 3 is Kensley Smith in the 15. He's got Dennis Kane to the inside. What a battle we have as Dennis Kane looks like maybe he just can't get moving and get that truck spun up where he's got to go to use the rest of the racetrack. You know, one of the things that short track racing has shown me over the years is how important using all of that asphalt is to be able to arc into the bottom of the corner, swing all the way out to the wall on your exit, and that's what gives you the momentum to spin around here as fast as we do as we go under caution for the first time. And it looks like Alex Teft may be in a little bit of trouble here as he limps away in the number 43 Home Depot Tundra.
Let's see what happened here to him. Looks like he's going to just get on the gas just a little bit too soon, a little too hard, too aggressive. Going to nose into the front stretch wall there, but ultimately going to be able to get away pretty scot-free there.
You know, that's one of the things where, you know, here we were at that point on lap number 2 plus, you know, just about lap 3. And, you know, the tires were probably getting ready to come up to temperature, and he thought he could goose it and see where he was with that temp. Because, you know, one of the mistakes that some drivers will make is that they hold on too long and not, you know, really start to spin those tires hard, and they wind up missing the sweet spot of the grip. Meanwhile, there's other drivers like Alex who was ready to start rolling through here and gives a little bit too much, maybe just, you know, a second too soon, and spins out the rear of that truck.
Yeah, and it's easy to do here, certainly, especially on the cold tires, and, you know, you got to figure it out and, you know, kind of feather that throttle and really work with it. It's not easy by any means, but certainly going to see some people struggle with that tonight.
So here we are under the first caution of the night, lap number 6 in the books as drivers getting themselves all lined back up here. As right now we're single file. We see the 69 of Jesse Fox peeling down pit road. Maybe a little bit of repair necessary because it's certainly not going to be adjustments. We're in a fixed setup race, and that puts a lot of the onus on the drivers for skill. And that's something that I've always found fascinating with the Racers Elite series of racing. You know, the skill that these drivers literally have to put on, you know, week after week after week, and some of them, you know, 2 and 3 nights a week.
Yeah, I'm certainly not one of those guys. I could practice for hours and hours and hours, and to no avail, because it's one of those things, I'm practicing all the wrong things. But these guys are pretty much closer to professional than, you know, I've seen a lot of other leagues, you know, before my time with SRM. So the Racers Elite Series has literally some of the most elite racers there are.
Without a doubt, as here we are on lap number 7, getting ready to go back green flag racing. Brendan Honeycutt going to have control of the field as we come into turns 3 and 4. As it's time right now, we hit the Geico restart zone. It's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, call a friend, and settle in. Here we are on lap number 8.
Brandon Honeycutt able to get away there. Sanfilippo undercharged by Blair Holloman side by side as they go into turn 3. Sanfilippo really trying to make that high line work here. Can't seem to find a way down with Holloman working there. And it's not one of those tracks where you normally have a ton of, drive off the top. It's not like your Auto Club and your Kansases and Texas and where you can even just like Darlington where people are running up by the wall. It doesn't give you that ton of speed flying off the corner. As Kensley Smith looks at the outside of Holloman now, as Sanfilippo finds his way clear.
Blair Holloman right now here in the 32 GM Goodwrench Chevrolet Silverado working the inside of Kensley Smith. They are drag racing down the front stretch. Neither of them is going to be giving up any kind of real estate tonight as they're both playoff drivers, and they've got to be able to get up there and challenge Honeycutt. The thing that we're going to start to see, though, is if they're going to be fighting one another and now taking one another out of their typical racing lines, we're going to start to see Sanfilippo running away from them, as right now the gap between Sanfilippo and the 15 and the 32 is somewhere in and around just about a half second. And I've been watching that slowly grow as we now cross the half-second line, while Kensley Smith finally, wins this individual battle with the 32.
Yeah, and, Honeycutt's really not really going to be much of an issue for these guys, as he's not going to take any kind of playoff spot tonight. We're having a little bit of issues with our timing and scoring pylon with highlighting the correct names, but Honeycutt is not in the playoffs here in the Truck Series.
Just to be fair, that's odd because he is in the playoffs in the Cup Series, he will be. Wow, what a dude. Love watching this guy race.
Oh, absolutely. And I think he just missed a couple of races this season, which is literally the only reason why he's not, because he certainly is one of the best racers I've seen in this league as well.
15 laps in the books here in the Racers Elite Truck Series, live from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Brandon Honeycutt, our race leader, as we look a little further back here in the field, we can see Dennis Kane starting to try to work up to Curtis Ecker. He's holding the low line on the racetrack, and he's still not swinging. I feel like his exit is just not as pointed as it needs to be, as he's trying to match the 19 step for step. It's time at this point maybe to just start running his own race and focus on what he's got to do to get himself up there instead of overcoming the 19.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about racing is racing the track, not the people around you, because if you race the track correctly, the positions are just going to come. As you run, it's just going to open up opportunities for you, and trying to run somebody else's line that doesn't work for you is not going to help you, and really trying to push the issue to get by someone is just not the right call either.
I had heard that a long time ago, and one of my biggest flaws back in the day during my driving days was, trying to match that person in front of me. And you can, first of all, unless you have your feet attached to theirs, you're never going to get the braking line just right. Unless you have your hands holding theirs, you're never going to get that wheel positioning just right. You're better off trying to find your comfort zone and trying to race it rather than, matching somebody else, because in the words of Mr. Rogers, everybody is unique. Everybody is special.
Yeah, and just because a line is fast for one person doesn't mean it works for you either. I know me, no line works for me at all. But certainly I can tell those lines that make me marginally better. But it's all going to be about stacking notes for these guys and figuring out, what tires do at the beginning of a run versus what they do at the end. At places like Darlington, like we saw this past weekend for the IRL Cup racing, you would watch people run that lower line just under that little the half apron is what I call it. they were running that on fresh tires, and then as the tires worn out, they migrated up towards the wall, and so that track itself shows a dynamic in the tire of how much they change through a run. So you might see some of these guys wrapping that bottom here early, and then once the tires really start to get worn out, they might move up a little bit to the, middle lane or half a lane up, or, where we saw Honeycutt just that time around. It kind of straddled that the dotted line there through most of the corner.
Yeah, taking a look right now at the 61 of Rowan Lloyd, he holds down that final spot in the top 10. Rowan's been kind of a little loose here on exit. I'm starting to watch the truck wiggle wobble just a little on exit. Here he comes again. This time it looks like he's got it under.
Oh, and as you say that, Truth Hoax is the one that goes around in front of him.
That one. The double nickel of Truth Hoax just got pirouetted by the 61. As we go back and look at that, I mean, take a peek at what really went down here. I mean, for starters, and of course I was on the wrong driver. Why would I be? Yeah, it looks like Truth Hoax might have already been losing the rear end, and the 60. Wow, and he really got hammered there that last hit.
Yeah, take one more look at it here. Coming through turns 3 and 4, you see it kind of kick out just a little, and Rowan Lloyd's just right there, gives him that little love tap, and then I want to see that from the view of who was that? The 68, I believe, of Kyle Hess, because he had nowhere to go there at all, and I mean it was just one of those. He was along for the ride. I mean, he's well off the back of this pack here. And it's one of those, he sees Truth Hoax, thinks he's going to stay in that middle lane, and then he rolls up right in front of him. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Hess here has some kind of wheel damage to that thing just because of how hard he hit with that left front.
Taking a look real quick here at the YouTube.com live chat, the Allen Experience checking in and screaming, "Happy birthday to the love of his life, Leslie Bergen." I thought I was the love of his life, but I guess this is how he's telling me.
Wow.
I thought we had something special.
Just leave it to someone like, Allen to go back on his word that easily. Oh, how dare he? He does a great job here, but certainly doesn't, speak to how much he actually loves people.
Well, then tonight's poll question should be in the YouTube.com live chat. Hold on to your hats for this one. Since it's Alan's wife's birthday and he's not here in the broadcast booth, did he give up tonight's broadcast booth duties to get laid? Does Alan Bergen get laid tonight? If he's at dinner right now, he just spit his beverage across the table.
Oh, absolutely, right into Leslie's face.
Right into her face.
We're probably not helping him in any case with that for sure.
We are not. So what you're saying is I'm probably not a good wingman for him tonight.
Honestly, though, I mean, I feel like you're a good wingman for me tonight, and I'm a good wingman for you on Thursday night. So
that is true.
I mean, I feel like me and you could be great wingmen for Allen as Teff brings him into the box, fires off. He's the only one that didn't come down pit road this time around, and I think he's going to be in trouble here. I mean, I know he wants that track position, but certainly those old tires are not going to work against these new tires.
No, but if there's somebody on this racetrack that I think I would trust on the old rubber, it's Andrew Teft. I mean, Andrew Teft is one of those mad scientist drivers who is like a He's so good at saving tires, he's almost cheap. It's almost like the race team said, "Hey, listen, everybody else has 5 sets. We have 3. We need you to save these."
No,
and
they
he
have
is
2.
so good at it.
He's probably wishing that NASCAR would add in an option to add on scuff tires instead of
oh yeah,
running a new set of tires.
He is that guy. The scuff tire whisperer. I mean, right now, after the restart, he's only dropped back to 5th position. He's currently holding off the 19. And what he's truly trying to count on is that, he's going to come in off cycle from everybody else, and then everybody else is going to have to come in, during a caution. which is going to give him the track position. So really, this is almost like playing chess. You don't know what the results are of this move because he's already thinking 3 moves ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like playing chess. I mean, he's got nothing to lose. He's already locked into the championship race, and he's going to be racing for a championship. But it's one of those things where he's gotta throw everything he can at it. And honestly, if he can just get to that point where the end of his fuel run is when we catch another caution, which we have caution out on the track now.
And this caution's going to feature Alex Teft.
Alex Teft having more trouble. Second incident for the 43 machine here is, it looks like he gets loose off of there and rears it in.
Same way from the first one.
And almost collected Truth Hoke in that.
I hope Truth Hoke has a Tide pen inside the 55 to get the skid mark out of there.
Oh, certainly, or he wore a brown suit, because he certainly sounds like Tyler Reddick right about now from this past weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that for sure. Now, that, of course, is going to bring down Andrew Teft here under caution. So Andrew Teft is going to get those fresh tires. We're about 10 laps after everybody else did. So Andrew Teft on 10-lap fresher tires, that's going to extend his ability. Not only... did he overshoot? Nope, he got it. There they go. I was really waiting to see that truck flip up there on my screen here. I was afraid that he wasn't going to take tires. But... now Andrew Teft is going to drop to the back of the line, which is fine. As everybody else starts to fall off, that's when he's going to start making his hay. So let's just say he's going to go to the rear here at 13th position. Everybody else starts to fall off during the long run. He starts to make some positions up, comes into the pits, and now on fresh tires goes out and kicks everybody right in the teeth.
Yeah, and certainly, I mean, he's going to be able to run long, too. So if he can catch a caution at the right time too, he's going to be able to basically not necessarily have a free pit stop, but I mean he's going to have a lot better track position if he catches it to where at the end of his cycle he comes down pit road under caution. I mean he's going to be able to gain so much.
38 laps in the books here as the iRacing.com pace car leads us out of turn 4. Drivers still single file for the time being, but we should see those lights go out, and they do, to double file up 2 by 2. Everybody get in the arc and get ready to go back racing.
Yeah, Sanfilippo going to have control this time around over Honeycutt, and if he can get the power down, he can pull off what Honeycutt did, but had a little bit of a tire spin the first go at it, and I mean that's just going to be something he's going to have to fight here. So a little bit of a worn tire here now, but certainly not as bad as could be as the pace truck leaves the racing surface. Sanfilippo going to fire off. Honeycutt's the one that has the tire spin this time, and it's going to allow Holloman to look to the outside here, and Kensley Smith staying to the inside. Sanfilippo going to have his control here still. It looks like Alex Teft is back down pit road now, looking to get some of that service to fix that machine. Certainly hurts. Kensley Smith has fallen back to 4th as Holloman's found his way into the 3rd position. Eckert looking to the inside of the 61 of Rowan Lloyd, and Eckert's had a pretty good showing here as of late, finishing 2nd to Teft at IRP, and really running in the top 5 most of the races this past couple of weeks that I've been on this show.
Well, and Andrew Teft here, he just got ahead of Philip Archibald. Now remember, he had restarted back in 13th position. He's already back up to 10th. And one of the things that I love about Andrew Teft, the pride of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, along with his brother Alex, is he is surgical while he moves through the field. This man is going to pick one driver off at a time. He literally, it's like going to the lunch line. He's wearing the hairnet, and he is serving you every time he gets up to the rear bumper. I think that right now the easy move is going to be to get around Kyle Hess and the Black Rifle Coffee Chevrolet Silverado, as this F-150 is on fresh tires, and in the Racers Elite Truck Series, I almost said Cup Series, that would have been bad, but here in the Truck Series, this guy already has himself up a couple more spots.
Yeah, and I look for him to get plenty more once he gets through some of this. It's almost like you want to call it lap traffic with how much faster he is on these fresher tires, but certainly all of this is for position. But it feels like that lap traffic feel. He's back up front. Blair Holloman still looking to track down San Filippo here. Not letting him get away easy, and certainly going to try to probably use Alex Teft as some kind of pick if he can get it, get to the inside of San Filippo and keep him up high with Teft there.
Sometimes I don't like to get fixated on one person, but sometimes one person becomes that story of the race. They're definitely not a footnote, as Teft just got around the 68, so now the 98. Back to 8th position on the recovery drive after the late pit stop. Troy Thomas looks here out of the rearview mirror, and all he can see off of the back of that Callaway deck lid is Andrew Teft. And now here on the low side, Andrew Teft working his way here, past the 8 truck of Troy Thomas. The next position is Curtis Ecker, and he's 1.2 seconds away. I'm going to keep a close eye on that one, because I'm curious to see how much real estate...
I don't mean to cut you off, but Ecker got a little loose into that corner. Went
did.
Up high.
I'm curious to see how fast or how soon Andrew Teft can close that gap between himself and Curtis Ecker.
Yeah, certainly with the fresher tires, it's going to be quick, but it's not always easy. Once you start to get up to up the number of laps on tires, and Holloman with a little bit of a slide there through out of 4. But once you start getting those laps on the tires, you kind of equalize just a touch bit more. So it starts making those higher positions, once you get close to that top 5, more difficult to get through.
And for that, you're absolutely correct, as we work lap number 52 of 160. Dave Riegel and Jordan Brockel with you here in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for tuning in as we work now lap number 52 of 160. Curtis Ecker right now running in 6th position. Your race leader, though, Brandon Sanfilippo, he's still trying to hold off Blair Holloman, and it's almost like Holloman is holding back. I'm always curious when I see some of these, Holloman gets loose as soon as I talked about it. But, I'm always curious with some of these drivers who have shown dominance and flashes of greatness earlier in the season. They obviously know how to get it done, and sometimes I just think they're messing with us.
Holloman, a little bit of loose there underneath of Sanfilippo this time around too. As I keep wanting to peek back here, is Andrew Test underneath the 19 of Curtis Ecker here, gonna clear him and get clear and head towards his brother now to put him a lap down to him.
55 laps in the books. We're still working our way toward the halfway point, but Brandon Sanfilippo is now getting a little bit of a challenge here from Blair Holloman. As Holloman looks to the inside, he hauls it down in there, loses the rear end for just a second, and it was enough to let Sanfilippo scurry away like a squirrel in front of a car, as now he's going to try to get back ahead here of Holloman. Holloman might have gotten a little bit too excited there on the throttle, as now he looks to throw it down underneath again in the number 32 GM Goodwin Chevrolet Silverado.
Yeah, now he's going to be under fire here by Brandon Honeycutt, and Kensley Smith is right there as well. So he's not able to have any kind of mistake here, or he'll be under fire from 2 more drivers from that DEI stable.
Yeah, and you know what? That's one of the things I like about this league. It's DEI. It's Driving Extreme Inc., but it's also DEI.
Yeah, and I love it, and but for Holloman right now, he doesn't, because he's sitting kind of between a sandwich of these DEI drivers, Sanfilippo being one, and then Honeycutt and Kensley Smith being the other 2. So he's certainly seeing DEI all around him, and I mean, he looks like that RCR guy right now, just kind of stuck.
Stuck he is as he works his way around the double nickel of Truth Hoke. Alex Teff now down a couple of laps, actually down a lap, as he and Truth Hoke, each of them down a lap. But right now, as we work here on lap number 59, I look a little further back here, and here's Kyle Hess having to hold off Philip Archibald. I'm sorry, here's Troy Thomas having to hold off Kyle Hess. I can read. They taught us how to read once upon a time. Okay.
Once upon a time. Was that after you graduated?
What's that?
I said, was that after you graduated they taught you that?
Yeah, that's what it was. Also, this just in from Alan Bergen. The answer to the poll question is no, not helping. He texted me that, which means she just told him to get off the damn YouTube. That's what she told him.
100%. And I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, come on, man. It's her birthday. Give her one day of the week.
To be fair, I have done enough screwing up here on the old iRacing. I can tell you how to screw up a relationship. Give me a minute.
I think we all can at this point, buddy.
Truth Hoke just registered as going off track. I'm going to take a peek here while we watch the live action. And it looks like Truth Hoke may be coming out of turn 4. Nope. Truth Hoke lost it going through 1 and 2 and did a little bit of light landscaping on exit of 2.
Yeah, we're taking a look here now as he goes into 1. Oh, Tokyo drifting it. Thought he was going to hang on to it fully, but grabs the grass there as Teft probably had a little bit of a fear in his eyes there.
He did, and now we go under caution for the 4th time this evening here on lap number 64. Philip Archibald, the first one that comes up here on the red line. Take a look here and see what happened to Phil. Oh, I can see where this is
going down the front stretch.
Oh.
Goes into turn 1 and 2. Starts the Tokyo drifted as well. And then, unfortunately, the 0-0 of Rob Yost is just kind of stuck there, and that's one of those things. Not a lot of places to escape here that easily.
Thank God the iRacing.com pace car or pace truck is invisible, so to speak, because it drove right through him.
It's one of the. I bet it's piloted by Ludacris. Move!
No,
Get out the way.
That's about right. And it goes ludicrous speed.
I've certainly had my my fair share of scares where you don't really know it's the pace truck or car or Porsche, and it comes flying up to you, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get hit," and you jerk the wheel, and then realize it was just the pace car.
Yeah. You gotta understand though. Most of the time, I'm nowhere near the pace car when I'm on the track. I'm the guy that they're going, come on, get caught up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. Here it comes. Julia here in the YouTube.com live chat saying, let's go, number 43. So obviously Alex Teft has himself a little cheering section here. As Teft got himself, this may get him back onto the lead lap. We'll see how that was scored when we get ready to go back green flag racing.
And it looks like popping up here says Rowan Lloyd crashed. Let's see what happened to him. Oh, I think it was just him stopping for the to let everybody by, and it registered him as crashed.
Oops.
Oopsie.
God forbid you should be a, courteous driver. I'm about to do something here. I'm about to shut the air conditioner off.
I would love to have some more air conditioning down here in my booth, because it's certainly a little toasty down here, and I can bet it's certainly toasty for some of these guys who are getting ready to go back green flag racing here, as Honeycutt's going to have the control. No, I lied. San Filippo's going to have the control here on the inside. Actually, I'm wrong. I guess Honeycutt did have it on the outside. My apologies there. He certainly gets away pretty scot-free as Sanfilippo is going to be in tow with Holloman looking to the inside. Not going to be able to get a drive off to stay to the inside evenly, but certainly looking to capitalize as Kensley Smith looking up high.
Kensley Smith looks up high here as now he's up on that right rear of the 32. Blair Holloman trying to almost to box him out from being able to use the low part of the racetrack, where of course he can load up some of that energy and swing to the outside with that momentum. So now it looks like Smith is going to hook himself to the rear bumper of the 12 of Brandon Sanfilippo. Side by side goes Sanfilippo, and now the 32 of Blair Holloman as Holloman looks to try to get up here and start to work over our leader, Brandon Honeycutt, here in the Pals Chevrolet Silverado. Blair Holloman in hot pursuit now as he looks to the inside. He throws it in there, and they go side by side through turn 1 and 2, and as they get ready to haul it down the backstretch, Holloman is just one more run away from being able to slide in front of the 13 and secure the lead for the time being as we are working lap number 72.
Oh, 3 wide with DEI drivers.
Wide.
Couldn't click fast enough here.
Do you know what everybody just said in their Discord channel?
Ah.
Whoa!
Now Honeycutt goes from the lead, falling back to 5th place and under fire by Andrew Teff for 5th. As Blair Holloman up front since fast time of the race here at a 1960, and we've got a caution.
Caution coming out as it looks like Curtis Ecker went off track just a second ago. This may be our cause. Take a look here at the replay on my screen.
Yep, there she goes.
There it is.
Yahtzee!
Survey says caution. You know, here's the thing, and I was having this discussion last night, as a matter of fact. iRacing is getting really flaky with what does or does not bring out a caution, because last night I was at Darlington in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, and there were some you know, incidents on the racetrack that I swear under normal conditions would have been a caution. But it's almost like, I don't know if race control was drinking a little bit and they weren't really near that button, or if iRacing changes the threshold for what brings out the caution, you know, on each racetrack.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and I feel like that's a good one there, just because like he is in the dead center of the track, and it's one of those like that one makes a lot more sense. Sometimes I see these single spins at bigger tracks, like you know Daytona. You have a single car that loses it, goes down in the backstretch, the opening in the backstretch, and they don't call one, and that makes sense. I mean, it's not really a detriment to anyone.
No, but then last night, there we were at Darlington, and on the front stretch, completely sideways was one of the drivers. No caution, no problem. I'm like, you're only giving that guy 30 seconds to get that thing pedaled away and out of the racing surface. At 30-second laps, that's what you got.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like screwed if you do, screwed if you don't kind of thing.
Yeah, I can go with that one.
I was like, you know what I'm going to say, but I'm trying to keep it a little bit more on the PG side there. So
when we go back green, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're gonna step away real quick. We need to pay a little bit of bills here, get a quick one underway, and be right back. back here at the racetrack. Holloman takes over the point, running away a little bit here. Sanfilippo and Kinsley Smith were duking it out there just as we came back. Andrew Teff found himself up to 4th place here. And, you know, Kinsley Smith all over the back of Sanfilippo. So we've got a lot of guys really trying some stuff here as we get towards just past halfway here.
Yeah, as we look here at this battle with Andrew Teft right in the midst of it, we see the 15 of Kinsley Smith trying to work up to Brandon Sanfilippo. Then the 4 of Dennis Kane trying to draw in to Andrew Teft, while Andrew Teft swings it out high. I don't know if he planned to do that or what that was, but he was in one perfect line and then all of a sudden decided he didn't want to do it anymore.
Oh, Kinsley Smith. Oh, I don't know how he hung on to that thing. But that right there is showing you that worn tires, about 20 lapped old tires here, and certainly gone away a little bit there. Well, Holloman showing that it doesn't matter. He's got the speed and certainly gapping these guys by over almost a second and a half over Sanfilippo right now.
I was just back here poking my nose into where the 00 of Rob Yost is, running in 10th position. Right now, he's got a rearview mirror full of the 69 of Jesse Fox. Whoa! And Jesse Fox gets spun around.
Oh.
Jesse Fox just got nailed by Curtis Ecker. And not in the fun way like prom night.
Yeah, he comes off, and he's actually sliding. He kind of had a bobble there. Caught his slide, but then Ecker was just right there. And, I mean, you can't fault Ecker there at all for that. I mean, it's one of those things that happen. Taking a look on board here is, you see that slide there? Ecker doesn't really check up, but, like, I mean, it's one of those things you see him kind of save it, so you think you're going to be good, or you're trying to get out of harm's way, so kind of a double-edged sword there for Ecker on what to do.
88 laps in the books. I don't think we're going to see anybody come down pit road this time with the exception of Kyle Hess. I think we're going to see a lot of these drivers, especially your tire-saving wizards, we're going to start to see them push this. They're going to try to get themselves as close to about lap 110 as they can.
Yeah, I'm not a big strategy guy, but I mean, I'm right there with you. Around 110, put them in a good window. It's just going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be whoever's the smartest, saves the most tires, makes sure they have enough fuel. I think tires is going to be very important of just not trying to push it too hard, too soon, and not wearing your stuff out. You see Holloman's trying to, he's ready to go. He's sitting there bumping that pace truck. He's like, I'm ready to go. Set me free, set me free.
Oh, right now the iRacing.com pace truck is trying to hold Holloman back. And, you know, there has to be some level of excitement, especially when you've got 70 laps to go here. And, you know, this isn't like in real life, so to speak, where, you know, you've got to wait for the safety trucks to get off and actually clean up, you know, some of the fluids and whatnot that get onto the racetrack. By the way, is being a safety truck operator at a racetrack also like being the janitor in a brothel where you have to clean up fluids with oil dry?
Oh, my Lord. I just want to know where you come up with this stuff, man.
I just thought of it.
I know.
Do you think I have a notebook
how?
of this stuff?
Yeah, a mental notebook of some sort, but
I'm sitting here.
how.
No, I said fluid. No, see, I'll take you through the way that my brain is wired, miswired. So, I said fluids, and of course, you think bodily fluids and I mean, sometimes you think race car fluids, but when I think fluids, I think of that little box that used to be in the front of the school bus for when somebody puked on it, the bodily fluids cleanup kit, and it was like sawdust and oil dry to clean up puke. And I thought, but of course, other bodily fluids, stuff. And then I realized that basically the safety crews are nothing but janitors from a brothel. They have to clean up, clean up fluids after somebody makes a mess.
Well, certainly all the fluids are off the track, and Holloman's going to have control here. He's going to fire off. He's going to gap these guys a little bit, headed down to turn 1 with Andrew Teft, none other than in that inside line of second place here, certainly showing his strength of finding his way through this field. But he is now the guy that's in a little bit of a DEI box there with Sam Filippo, Honeycutt above him, and Kensley Smith directly behind him.
Yeah, as Holloman ran away, he was off like a shot from a gun, and now side by side goes Andrew Teft and Brandon Sanfilippo as Teft here looks to the inside. He isn't going to get around and now gets shuffled back to go drag racing with a 13. And all of a sudden, if you get yourself high and wide here, Andrew Teft is almost like trying to beat off 2 drivers at once, as now at one point he was between the 12 and the 13. And now he's sliding back. He's got to get into line, and he's got to try to hit those marks so he can start moving forward again.
Yeah, and also Honeycutt being about 10-lap fresher tires, he's kind of just stuck there. He wants to get through his teammate there of Sam Filippo, and it's not being made easy. So I mean, definitely gonna have to see if he can hold off Honeycutt there.
Well, all I can say is, whoops. Brandon Honeycutt right now, holding off Kensley Smith. Kensley Smith desperately trying to climb in there. He's getting a good run, but it seems like on entry, Kensley's got a better entry, but exit, it's like Honeycutt knows exactly where Smith is going to go, and he's able to almost block him in some ways. And, to some degree, especially when you're driving defensively, it's almost easier to match the driver behind you rather than if you're trying to be offensive and try to match the driver in front of you. As now Kensley Smith looks to the high side of Brandon Sanfilippo. He's going to challenge him here for second position, and it looks like for the time being he gets it. There they are, door handle to door handle, coming out of turn number 2 and down the back chute. Hi vey. 100 laps in the books. I start to see a couple of drivers sprinkle their way down in here, but Blair Holloman, he leads them, while Brandon Honeycutt, who came down on lap number 75, decides he's going to stay out. That's an interesting choice, as Kyle Hess also staying out. He was only down on lap 87. But literally everybody else, they're down. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Brandon Honeycutt, Kyle Hess, Blair Holloman, Brandon Sanfilippo, Kensley Smith, Dennis Kane, Andrew Teft, Troy Thomas, Rowan Lloyd, and Curtis Ecker, your top 10. And staying on the lead lap is going to be Rob Yost, Truth Hoke, and Jesse Fox. Those are the 13 drivers on the lead lap. Philip Archibald still down 4 laps. It's going to be a while, as he's still trying to get himself back underway here. I mean, 4 laps isn't that, being down 4 laps isn't that big of a deal, but it really stinks when you're the only car down any laps and you can't get a lap back because nobody comes down. The big dog Shane Lake checking into the youtube.com live chat. He showed up and I was talking about cleaning up bodily fluids. At least we weren't talking about food tonight. We did for 2 nights in a row. It was actually getting really good. We covered hot dogs. We covered all kinds of stuff. A rumbling in my tummy. I was thinking. Yep. Yeah, I was out looking for a smackerel of honey. Oh! Yeah, way. Well, if you're going to get freight trained, I wouldn't want to do it in North Carolina. You never know if it's an uncle. Brandon Honeycutt leads this race now with Sanfilippo and Blair Holloman in tow. As Sanfilippo now is just ahead of Holloman, and Holloman just kind of, it looks like he's settling in right now for third position. He's got, I say that, and all of a sudden he goes, no, just kidding, I'm coming for that. Yeah, all of a sudden he just wanted to get it by those 200th of a second and said, I can do this. The big dog Shane Lake giving you an update here. Hot dogs, nachos, wings, pizza, and hoagies. Are you from a section of the country that calls a sandwich a hoagie? I mean, I know where you're from, but I'm just saying, like, do y'all use them hoagies? Oh, there he goes! Oh, watch the 13 and the 12. They're at it too. Oh, God almighty. While that was going on between Kensley Smith and Sanfilippo and Dennis Kane, Sanfilippo just scurried around Brandon Honeycutt like he just stole the cookies from the top shelf. Well, that's going to change a few things. Yeah, it should be somewhere in and around 45, 46. It's going to be an interesting run because, I mean, you know, do you come in and burn that last set of tires now? Do you try to squeeze this one out just a little bit more? You're right on the edge. And I mean, when you're working around the racetrack, I mean, especially in these situations where you're on the edge, do you stay or do you go? You know, these are the decisions where usually a pit crew, or at least a crew chief is sitting there. He either looks like a genius or he looks like a goof. You know, speaking of questioning crew chiefs and things like that, of course, a crew chief is is akin to a head coach in football. And we are getting to that point of the year where we get to question guys that make 1,000 times more money than we do at what they do for their job. As the NFL makes its return to NBC on Thursday night. You sure you want them back? That's where we're going then. Here we go, 46 laps to go at the line. You went there, huh? We got our... Here we go. Watch the 13 peeking to the low side. Curtis Ecker in the middle. They might go 3 wide. They choose better of it. A 4-car battle between the 32, the 15, the 19, and the 13. And the 32 just sliced through there like it was cheese and a hot knife. Oh, and there goes the 32. He thought he was going to lose the rear end of the Goodwrench Chevrolet. Ay vey. Now, folks, just a peek behind the curtain, if you will. While you're watching what you're watching, I'm up here in the Goodyear blimp, so I get to see this from a different perspective than you do at home. And I'll tell you what, watching the double nickel right now of Truth Hope try to work over top of the 32 of Blair Holloman. Oh, there goes the 13. A grunt? I'm sure that Honeycutt did more than a grunt. Well, you can only... Never mind. My microphone's hot. I can't do it. See, this is like, really what you've done is you've handed me a grenade. And you pulled the pin, and my hand is just holding that little flappy thing in. And I refuse to let it go.
Well, I'm certain as soon as we get off the air, that little flappy thing's gonna go flying.
I can't do it.
I know.
God, I hate you.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking for that pace truck right about now.
Did the base truck have a connection issue? No, you know what?
Oh,
yeah,
he's way up there.
San Filippo needs to get caught up. So on the social schedule, I'm going to be taking my little girl for a pedicure this weekend. Have you ever had a pedicure?
No.
Well,
I can't say that I have. The only time I ever had anything done to my toenails is when I had to have one removed.
Oh, that's sexy.
It didn't feel that way.
I mean, like, did you have it done in the back of a van down by the river? They give you a bite rag and a bowl of alcohol to pour on your foot as an anesthetic? Anesthetic?
No, I was actually in the doctor's office like it's supposed to be, but, I mean, he put so much numbing. I don't think Novocaine is the same thing that you use. I think it's only dental, but I could be completely wrong. I don't know, I'm not a doctor.
I think it's lidocaine.
Lidocaine, Novocaine, Novocaine, Super
Candy
cane.
Candy cane.
Candy cane.
Candy cane.
But,
see, I'm a doctor's nightmare.
But they had my toe, and I'm not even kidding. My toe looked like an overinflated Vienna sausage, and I swore I still felt the pain of when he removed it.
Wow. You know what? I had that happen. I had a tooth pulled once, and they numbed me up. They numbed me up, and while they were wiggling it out of my face, I could feel my skull moving while they were wiggling that set of pliers back and forth. I was like, what's the point if I can still feel all of this to the Novocaine?
Yeah. Like, I would rather be under.
Yeah, but you know, as much discomfort as I was in, I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, this hurt, you know? And then I'm thinking, and that's with the Novocaine, I'm thinking, wonder how bad this would have hurt, like, if I didn't have the Novocaine.
Oh,
like,
don't even give me
like, you watch a hockey player lose a couple of chiclets on the ice.
Oh, dude, they're built different, okay?
Right. And they just keep skating. But me, no, I'm a big baby. I will not, no, not happening.
Dude, my dentist that I had at one point, I had to have a filling or two put in, and he's like, oh, we don't need anything numbing for that. It'll be fine. And I'm thinking, no. Yes, we do. And he just starts drilling in my tooth with no numbing, no nothing. And I'm like, I can't feel it. Of course, you know that's how I sound. I can feel it. And he's like, Dad, stop being a baby. And I'm like, I'm never coming back here again.
Yeah, you know, I love it when the doctor says stuff like that. Like, yeah, this will be fine. You do not know me.
Exactly. You don't know me. You don't know me like that.
Right. Like, I am a giant baby. I do not deal well with the pain like that.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, as Holloman looks to the inside of San Filippo, the funny thing is there is a lot of things that I'll do that I don't even feel it. Like, it's just small stuff like that, like, for some reason it hurts so much worse.
It's the pain you can see.
It's not even that, because, I mean, I smashed my finger in the lock of a car lift, because we were doing it incorrectly. You're supposed to, like, be able to pull a lever and it works, but the cable broke. But I smashed the tip of my finger and broke the tip of my finger bone, and I walked out to my manager and I was like, hey, I think I got to go to the emergency care or something. And he was like, why? And I pulled my finger out of the towel that I had that was, completely red. And he was like, dude, does that hurt? And I was like, doesn't feel good.
I will never forget, I was about 19 and I was at the scrapyard throwing away light diffusers from a ceiling that we had pulled apart. And they were number one shiny aluminum, and somehow I had cut myself on this thing, because the fins are very sharp. I did not know that I cut myself. I got into my truck, and I'm driving down the road, and the guy that I was with, swear to God, he sounded like Eeyore. His name was Keith. Keith looks at me.
Don't mean to cut you off. Looks like we have caution on the track. Looks like Robert Yost had an injury. We're talking about.
Speaking of injuries.
Talking about things like that.
But Keith looks at me and goes, I think you're bleeding. And all I knew was that my arm was warm, and I was gushing blood. Like, it was bad. And I'm like, holy crap. I did not feel it whatsoever. Like, my skin was filleted.
Oh. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I never felt it.
I smacked my head on, like, where I was working. They had ovens for baking guitar strings, and I had my head in there because I was what they call a troubleshooter. So I fixed machines. I had my head in the oven, and I was messing with the tree that holds the what the strings hang on. And I go to pull my head out, and I smack the corner of the metal piece that holds the lock, and I'm like, ow. Like nothing happened. And then my buddy comes up to me, he goes, your head is red. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, you're bleeding from your head. And I was like, it's not that bad. And I put my hand up there, and I was like, there's blood on my hand. Stuff like that. But the minute it comes to, like, my teeth and nails and stuff like that, like, I'm just like, yeah, don't do it. Don't touch me.
I'll just die. Leave me here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that one. Speaking of leaving me here, we're on lap number 134 of 160. Last mass pit stop was on lap 100. Now, Kyle Hess came in on 110. It looks like Rowan Lloyd and Troy Thomas each came in on 120, so about 15 laps ago. Obviously, Holloman and Teft think that we're going to go one more caution here so that they can squeeze as much out of those tires as they can because, I mean, as you get closer to the end of this race here, somebody's going to step out of line, bad things are going to happen, and now with fresh tires on the bottom of the 98, I mean, he is going to be a rocket ship.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where, I mean, it's going to be one of those things that it's going to be hard to really do anything about it. And you know,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and you know, it's only gonna get to that point where we're gonna see people making some very hasty moves. You know, as we get closer to the end of this thing. So I mean, I feel like we are gonna have another caution. It's just where and who.
I'd rather make a hasty move instead of hasty pudding. I can tell you that much. Speaking of hasty pudding, do you know what? Never mind.
How many times can we get Dave Regal to say, never mind, as Blair Holloman going to fire off here, pulling Andrew Teft with him, and certainly Dave is not having a good time, not having control over his microphone to whisper sweet nothings into my ear, but I get to do that to him as much as I want. I haven't taken advantage of that as much as I should have.
Well, see, first of all, that's a skill that I have honed over the last few years here in the broadcast booth. And wow, watch the 98 and 68. Wow. Hey. But second of all, I recognize that I am just a guest here, and there's a caution. We're going to watch the 98 real close. But I recognize that I'm just a guest in your booth, so I can't come in here, you know, defecating all over the table.
Yeah, and it looks like Dennis gets in there, gets a little bit too hard on the binders there, maybe a little too much brake biased in the wrong place, and sends himself around.
Do you think he had right or left bias? Was he watching MSNBC or Fox?
Honestly.
You know what the worst part is? I said that, and outside my window I heard a cricket.
That's one of those, like, I was like, I'm going to leave that alone.
Leave it alone. That's a bomb right in the middle of the room. Stay away, stay away. And
But
here
see,
they come.
I like to
Andrew
jump on it.
Teft,
Pause.
Andrew Teft, Brandon Honeycutt, and Jesse Fox all come down. They did exactly what I thought they would.
Yeah, we're certainly going to see. Oh, the pit exit cam is not as great here as I wanted it to be. I usually like to see that race off to see where those three came out, but it looks like Andrew Teft's going to get the position over those guys. And I didn't even, you know, with those guys coming down, I didn't even notice that Blair Holloman staying out once again.
We're about to be 20 laps to go, and here we are with it after the 11th caution of the evening. And to be fair, I mean, 11 cautions here at North Wilkesboro, this is not like the Racers Elite Truck Series. I mean, really, all of these drivers are generally very clean drivers. I mean, I was at a completely caution-free race at Talladega, and I remember getting to the end and being out of breath because there was no break in the action.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, they just run so clean. You kind of just get locked in there and don't really think of anything very far.
When we go back green, it's going to be Holloman, Hess, Ecker, and Lloyd, and Troy Thomas in your top five. But lurking here in the weeds like a lion in the Serengeti is going to be Andrew Teft, Brandon Honeycutt, and Jesse Fox. You watch. I am really excited to see what Teft and Honeycutt are about to do because, woof. I mean, those are two drivers that I would not want to see if I was on the racetrack with fresh tires.
No, not at all. And, you know, it's not going to be a ton of time, but certainly I wouldn't count out, you know, Andrew Teft, Honeycutt. I mean, even Dennis Kane was running up front there for a while and charging forward. So I feel like anybody in this field can certainly pull off a win here. and may even be surprised with somebody that you wouldn't really expect at all. I mean, Thomas is looking for a win, sitting there in 5th. I'm trying to take a quick look. Hess, he wants this win, so he's right there to the outside of Holloman. But he's gonna, he's got 10 lap newer tires, but everybody else behind him is gonna have about 20 lap tires, newer tires. So a lot of varying different strategies, a lot more different hungry levels. As Holloman's gonna roll into the box, he's gonna fire off. Hess and Ecker are gonna be side by side going through into turn 1. Gonna see Ecker still fighting there on the bottom, as we're, I believe, almost 3 wide back there in the back.
They're trying like heck.
Andrew Teft already up to 8th position here, and I mean certainly gonna look to charge forward even more here, as we've got 16 to go here at North Wilkesboro, and Kensley Smith kind of stuck behind a little bit of traffic there too. It's not gonna be easy to get through these guys, but certainly it's attainable.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. The probability, though, is shrinking, because if you look right out the nose here of Andrew Teft, it's like being on I-95 at rush hour on the Baltimore Beltway. I mean, holy crap. There's nowhere to go, and at this point, he's got to find a place to shove the nose of the 98. Hope Valley, Rhode Island's Andrew Teft dives in underneath Troy Thomas, and they go drag racing down the front stretch. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to have the edge on entry. He's got to be able to slide up just a little bit, but with those new tires, he can really stick the bottom. 3 judges say 10, 10, 10, as he now puts his sights on Kensley Smith in the 15.
And you can see Andrew Teft just edge closer and closer, getting right there to that point of getting through Troy Thomas. And, he's going to edge himself a little closer to Kensley Smith and Curtis Ecker.
Look at you. Proud of you. Watch Kensley Smith. Kensley Smith just kissed the rear bumper of the 68, shoved his way on by. Oh, and the 68 comes back and spins him out.
Wow.
Now, listen, folks, I don't want to be that guy, but that looked like it was retaliation.
Oh, a little bit of a shove there.
Wolf.
And then he gets a knock there, too. Certainly something there. What it is, I don't know. Gets a nudge there. I mean, you can hear him throttling it, trying to stay off.
We can say whatever we want, but we aren't putting that much lipstick on that pig, pal. 10 laps to go, and Andrew Teft has now slid up into 3rd position. Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here in the Racers Elite Racing Series, and I'll tell you what, these folks on a Thursday have adopted me into the Cup Series, and it's one of the races it's one of the leagues that I look most forward to calling. I mean, look, we're here for 160 laps at North Wilkesboro, and we're just over an hour and 7 minutes for this race. Even at this rate, I mean, these drivers are just incredible to watch. I mean, San Filippo, Teft, both Tefts, Honeycutt, Hope, these are all names that you guys know from Thursday nights, and, say it with me, this league is incredible.
Oh, absolutely. Every league that these guys have is absolutely incredible, and really looking forward to when these guys have the Stafford Series coming up here in October on Friday nights. And certainly every time these guys put on one of those single special events and run those, I mean, those are amazing as well. I mean, they did I covered the Brickyard, phenomenal race. I did the Firecracker 250, phenomenal race there as well. So, I mean, everything these guys put on is something to watch. It's a spectacle, and it's pretty much TV worthy in my opinion. I would love to get a contract with like Flow Racing or something to where we could put these on there and send it out to every subscriber in the world there.
I'm telling you right now, even on Saturday night, I had the privilege of calling the Cup race at Daytona, and my daughter, who's 4 years old, she just simply loves the way that Daddy starts the race off with wiping the visor. And, she knows that that's from her Uncle Tony, who we lost a year ago this week. And you know, as we settled in there, I'm thinking it's Daytona. This is going to be mayhem, and it was like synchronized swimming. I mean, it was perfect. Everybody had their little rubber caps on and did everything just right. Does anybody do that anymore, by the way, synchronized swimming?
Honestly, I don't really know. I mean, I would assume somewhere, some way, somehow, there is synchronized swimming of some sort.
Researching.
So we're going to see Sanfilippo on the outside, Honeycutt directly behind him. Rowan Lloyd sitting in second right now, about to come through here. Coming at you! Green flag in the air, 7 laps to go, 6 now as they cross the line.
I'll be a son of a bitch. The YMCA in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania has the Phoenixville synchronized swimming team.
Okay. I mean, it's a sport. I mean, I can't swim for nothing, so.
I can.
I can swim, not like that.
Not dying. Yeah, swimming is simply the art of not dying.
I mean, I don't drown in 4-foot water, so I mean that's good.
I mean, I'm looking at one of the clips here of this stuff, and I mean, the person that just had their legs up in the air, I'd be dead or in traction. But right now, as we turn our attention back to the race, instead of synchronized swimming from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, Brandon Sanfilippo takes control of the race with 4 laps to go. He's got Brandon Honeycutt in tow. And looking to the inside of the 61 of Rowan Lloyd is Andrew Teft. They're going to go side by side here with 3 laps to go as we come across the start-finish line.
Yeah, and Teft doing everything that he can to try to get past Lloyd because he's watching. 3 laps to go here, and he's not going to, I mean, he's just not going to get there with how hard he's got to fight Lloyd here, and Honeycutt finding his way by, but Sanfilippo's running just as strong as well. So, I mean, just going to be a little short here, but Sanfilippo looking to hold on for the next 2 laps, punch his ticket to the finale and go race for a championship. Oh, the 61 grabs the wall there, hits Teft. Teft able to keep control of it.
Obstacle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers. Brandon Sanfilippo qualified on the pole. Brandon Honeycutt qualified the outside pole, and both of these drivers now running 1-2. They do. As Andrew Teft slides up into 3rd position, getting around Rowan Lloyd. Out of turn number 4, as Brandon Sanfilippo sees Barney in the stand, he captures the checkered flag in the Racers Elite Truck Series race here at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, an absolutely wonderful race. Sanfilippo showed his strengths early, qualified on the pole, able to bring it home in the position that he started. And, I mean, he's going to be the 3rd person here that's going to find himself in that locked position there and going to leave 1 spot open for that championship race going into next week. And it's going to be even more interesting as Sanfilippo smacks the inside wall with that rear end. But certainly a great spectacle. Phenomenal driving by these guys and able to just keep everything under tow.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance. Here I am just getting these drivers up here into the waiting room. And, this was a great performance by Sanfilippo and all the drivers involved. And, I mean, to me, if I was anybody who finished, this race on the lead lap, I would still be proud after some of the mayhem and mess that we've seen tonight as Sanfilippo burns those rear tires off of the number 12 Chevrolet Silverado. We're going to pull him up here, and I believe you have him with you now, Jordan.
Certainly do. Brandon Sanfilippo, it's Jordan and Dave up in the booth. You got a copy.
Hey guys, I do.
There he is. So you come away with the win. You start on the pole. You finish in 1st. How do you feel right now?
Whew, I'm sweating after that one. Too many cautions not to feel comfortable in that race. Because when you have so many cautions, you only have so many tires, so you don't know, is this going to be the last caution? Do I take my last set of tires now? Do I not? So kind of becomes a guessing game. And when I took my last set of tires around 35 to go. It worked out great and put me in a good position to win. So yeah.
Yeah, so you find yourself, you're the third driver to win here in these chase races. Going to put yourself right there into that final race there at Texas. You're going to be trying to run down Holloman and Teft.
Yeah, definitely. It's a close race. That's what we like. It keeps it interesting. Keeps it a lot fun because you have more things to pay attention to, and it kind of changes your strategy based on how the other guys are tackling the course, whatever it might be. So, but yeah, kind of just gonna approach that the same as this. Hopefully, you can qualify well, and then find a line that has a really good balance and go from there.
Yeah, certainly. And having a win, with just 2 races left in the season, I mean, that's got to be a large momentum bringer, going into those last 2 races.
Oh, for sure. I think my last win in trucks came the very first race of this season, so it definitely feels good to get a win. The biggest thing is it just builds up some confidence. You drive a little harder, a little better, a little sharper. So, yeah, looking forward to it. I think it's perfect timing going into the Texas there next week. So, yeah.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to watching the rest of this season with you guys and seeing what unfolds here. Before we send you on your way and let you celebrate the win, is there anyone you got to shout out and thank?
Yeah, just all my friends and family watching. Special shout out to my cousin John, who's always watching, the Carosa family who watches, Mr. Pangborn, my parents, brother, sister-in-law, everybody who's watching. Appreciate it, guys. And hopefully we put on a good show for you. And Dr. Jeff Fardank from Richmond, Virginia, optometrist, driving his Future Sight optometry truck. So far, it's brought me good luck with a second place and a first place. So I think I got to keep it going. And of course, you guys for putting on the show and Tef for putting on the league. It's been a lot of fun.
Certainly. Thanks for being up here, and congratulations on your win, brother.
All right, appreciate it.
That the voice of Brandon Sanfilippo, our race winner, and also here on the podium tonight, Chief Cook and Bottle Washer in the Racers Elite Truck Series and everything Racers Elite from Hope Valley, Rhode Island, Mr. Andrew Teft. Hey, Andrew, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Buddy, listen, great race tonight. I really thought that you had something special for the end. I was watching your pit strategy all night, and, you're one of the people that I feel like I'm always paying attention to, mostly because you are like a mad scientist with pit strategy. What didn't work out the way you wanted it to tonight?
Yeah, that felt like my best play. I don't think I had just the raw speed that those guys had here. Just felt like I was always in the wrong line. If I thought I needed to be in the high lane, everybody was down low, or vice versa. So thought I'd mix it up and try to put myself in a situation where I had better tires to make up for it, and kind of did. And I think I'll take a third because I felt like more of a 5th or 6th place truck probably.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you don't feel like you have, the winning truck, when you feel like you have that 5th or 6th place truck, sometimes the only thing that you can do, especially in a fixed setup league like this, is, try to make those little changes to your strategy. Because, I mean, from my experience, I'm not a good racer, and you are, but I'm not a good racer, so I would have been out there using every set of tires that I had just to stay competitive. But you managed to do that incredibly well tonight. And, a tip of the cap to you for bringing it home third here in the playoffs for the Truck Series. Before we cut you loose, as always, I got to ask you, who helped you get it done on the 98 team tonight, and who do you need to shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank my teammates. I think they taught me a little bit running around with them tonight. You guys for putting the show on over at SRM. Everybody that tunes in to watch and shows up to race, and our servicemen and women, my family. If anybody's interested in checking us out, just head on over to racerselite.com and you can find all the info there. Got a money race coming up this Sunday at Atlanta. It's a full length, 260 lap one. Got $500 on the line if we sell all the entries. So might be one to go check out. It'll be fun.
Absolutely. Listen, we're always trying to encourage people. I know that I do it on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday to encourage people to come to a Thursday with me when I call the Cup Series. So that's how I'll leave it here tonight. I will see you Thursday night here in the Racers Elite Cup Series, and good luck in that. And, of course, Good luck on Sunday. Make sure, folks, that you reach out to Andrew Teft and try to get entered there into the money race for a full-length race at Atlanta. And Jordan, that wraps things up here from North Wilkesboro with everything but our final results.
Yeah, certainly going to go over these final results here. Brandon Sanfilippo comes away with the win, starting on the pole as well, and Honeycutt starting second, comes back home in second. Andrew Teff comes third, Rowan Lloyd fourth, Blair Holloman recovers back up to fifth, Troy Thomas then sixth, Curtis Ecker seventh, Dennis Kane eighth, Kensley Smith and Trucoth ninth and 10th, Robert Yost Jr. in 11th, Jesse Fox in 12th, Philip Archibald in 13th, Kyle Hess, who started that one of those last restarts in that second position, falls all the way to 14th, 11 laps down. And then rounding out the field, not having a wonderful night at all, is Alex Teft. Want to thank everybody. My apologies. Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, Hope Valley had two good drivers tonight here in the Teft brothers, and one of them finishes on the podium and one of them finishes dead last. If that was my brother, I would be rubbing my butt right in his face.
Oh, 100%. Anytime, I mean, that's just brotherly love. Just being able to one-up the other. I mean, it's certainly one of those things you gotta have fun with.
Without a doubt. Well, listen, folks, if you want to take it home tonight, this is your show, so I will get out of your way. I appreciate you and having me tonight with you, Jordan.
It's always a pleasure working side by side by the amazing and wonderful Dave Riegel. It's been since day one, I believe. I think you just popped in once or twice in the race that I tried out with and called eternal dibs, and somehow we didn't get to keep the eternal dibs, and I mean, here we're trying to capitalize on that eternal dibs now.
Yeah, every time I see that you've got an open seat next to you, I am hustling for it, that's for sure. And I appreciate everything. But, well, for myself, Dave Riegel, and Jordan Brockell here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, making us a part of your evening. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.